Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Protractor Automation Testing Training Program. In the last class, we have seen a basic example using which we created a describe and we created a it and we launched a basic program in the last script. So, which is specifically interacting with an Angular JS applications. So, let me try to modify this particular script in such a way that, see here, this is a Angular JS application, right? So I'm changing it to a bing.com. Let me try to execute my test script to interact with a bing.com application. So in order to interact with the bing.com, I would like to open a new bing.com application to identify the properties. So here I'm opening a bing.com. Let me capture these text field properties here. So this text field is having some ID property. So copy this, go back to your file. Here I'm representing it as element by ID sp form underscore q, wherein which enter some value as Surendra. Great. So this is a non-angular JS application. This is not an angular one. This is a non-angular one. So once after I created this one, in a conf.js file, I am modifying it to execute my script on an example.js. And now let me run this particular file. So in the command prompt, I'm using a clear command and I'm trying to execute this particular test script. See, prior executing, I already launched my server and I started my server, and then I am trying to execute my test script. See here, it's something, it opened a different URL. Why? Let me check out what exactly the URL we have given in a program. See, ours is a bing.com. It's not a bing.org. Okay, cool. Let me clear this log once and let me rerun this program. So I'm asking it to open a bing.com. See here, it opened a bing.com, but it is trying to perform some operation wherein which as it is not an Angular JS application, it is throwing some issues. So here, if you observe the failures, see within this particular command prompt, see we are going to use the entire command prompt for our execution itself. Okay, so for our execution, in order to analyze the results also. So here the failure, the first failure it is displaying is Angular homepage should be greet the name user failed. Angular couldn't found on this particular page. If it is not an Angular application, you may need to turn off waiting for Angular. So the point out over here is generally whenever we are using or whenever we are working on a protractor, by default, protractor has an internal control which is a angular control dot wait for Angular, which we can call it as a wait for Angular, which will be internally called by protractor. Whenever a page is loaded, this will automatically load. Okay, this will automatically load and it will try to verify whether the Angular content got loaded or not, because of which as a internally wait for Angular method is trying to work on, as this page doesn't contain any Angular information, hence your test script is getting failed. To handle this scenario, we need to use ignore synchronization command. Okay, the command of which we need to use is browser.ignore synchronization. Let me add that command here. So browser.ignore synchronization is equal to true. This is the one which you need to update in your program. So here what I am doing means, on a top of my it, browser.ignore synchronization. Okay, so this is the default one which I need to ignore. Basically, when this one was ignored, automatically it won't wait for any Angular controls. Okay, fine. So here I'm just correcting the spelling. Okay, synchronization. it is equal to true. I'm defining it as a true. So browser.ignore synchronization is equal to true. This is the only command of which I have added to my test script. Now let me clear the console and let me try to execute this script once again. It's trying to open the bing.com and it entered a value as a Surendra here, guys. If you observe the basic difference here, ignore synchronization. So it means whenever you are working with an Angular applications, you no need to pass this ignore synchronization is equal to 2. When we need to pass this information means whenever we are trying to work on non-Angular applications, in those cases, for sure we need to pass this command, then only our protractor can interact with the application. Okay, can interact with the application. So this is all about an introduction to ignore synchronization command. This is the most important command, guys. Whenever you are dealing with the non-Angular controls, you need to use this one. Okay, so this will be really helpful for you people to handle any kind of non-Angular applications. Fine. We will continue an example in the next lecture.